What's up, folks? This is Sean McVay, Sean's Outdoor Adventures. As you know, if you follow my channel, I just harvested this buck not even a week ago. So today's Wednesday. This past Friday, I harvested this buck, and then yesterday, I went down to meet with the realtor to put my 10-acre property on the market, and I did a morning sit just to see if I could fill my state tag. And the morning started off, I saw some deer moving on the next property over. And I was like, all right, the deer are on the move. Let's see if any come my way. I did have a doe pop out right next to my shooting house. Of course, I'm just looking for a buck. But the windows were so frosty, you could barely see out of them. It was 5 degrees when I got in the shooting house yesterday. Yes, folks, I said that correctly. It was 5 degrees. And yeah, a bit cold. So a little later in the morning, after the morning movement slowed down, about 9:30 in the morning, I decided to let out a couple grunts just to see if any bucks are in the area and want to come check it out. So I let out a couple grunts, and sure enough, out pops a really nice 9-point. I mean, this is a really wide buck rack-wise. I mean, his tines aren't like super long or anything, but this is a good deer. And he was really excited when he popped out. His tail was wagging, he was licking his lips, and he hung up at the back end of my food plot. He's probably 70 yards away. And I kind of was hoping that he would come and explore where the grunts maybe were coming from. Since I was on the edge of the woods, I was hoping maybe he was thinking the deer must be down around the edge of the woods there. But he just stood there. And like 10 minutes went by, and he was just standing there. And I could see his excitement level was dropping. His tail stopped wagging, stopped licking his lips. And when he would look away, I would let out a grunt now and again just to try to get him to consider coming over. Eventually, he steps off and walks down into the woods. I was hoping he would come up through the woods and come out to see if maybe he could see where the deer was that was making the grunts. Since he was downwind of me the whole time, I think he knew, hey, I don't see a deer, I don't smell a deer, something's not right. So that's how he got to be kind of big and mature. There ended my morning hunt. Like, I didn't see anything else the rest of the morning. Got down a little bit after that, met with the realtor, and then I had to come home. My wife is away on a work trip, so I'm managing the kids. So I don't know if I'm going to get out the rest of the week. This coming Friday is the final day of the first archery season. I do have an urban zone buck tag, so I can still hunt in the urban zone during gun season, which is kind of why I've been waiting. I've been saving that tag for during gun season so I can still hunt. And then in the late season, I don't know if I'll get back down to my 10-acre property or not. It'll still be mine, even if somebody was to make an offer like right after it goes on the market. It's actually December 1st going on, which I'm not expecting. I'm actually kind of thinking like, well, it could go either way. I might get it. Somebody might want to buy it at some point, but if not, I'm just going to keep it, as I kind of started to talk about in the last video. Now, when I talked about getting this buck, I thought he was a 5.5-year-old. I didn't get a chance to look at the teeth. But the guy who has a lot of history with this buck, I've been messaging, he reached out to me on Instagram, and turns out this is a 6.5-year-old. This was his top targeted buck this year. So I felt a little bad kind of harvesting his top number one on the hit list buck. But he has sheds from this buck. He's so super generous, said he was going to give me the sheds. He said maybe even this weekend he'll be out my way, and maybe we can meet up. And that'll be cool. I'll do a video. We'll take a look at the sheds and everything. He also offered to lease my property. So if my property doesn't sell, or if I don't get a good offer, I'm not going to take a low offer. I'm just going to go ahead and lease it to the guy, and maybe he'll shoot the buck I was after this year, and it'll even it all out. Like, I shot the one he was after, and the buck that was 14-point last year, 10-point this year, he's going to be a real big one next year. He'll be a 5.5-year-old, and he'll be a giant. So if he ends up leasing it, maybe he'll get it. Or if somebody else buys it, maybe they'll share the story with us of them getting it. Either way, folks, that's the update on this. We're going to have sheds coming through the courtesy of this guy. And man, what a still enjoying this guy. I mean, and the guy who was targeting this buck, he said this buck was a real bully. The way he worded it, he was kind of a bully, pushing all the other bucks around. So he's like, that deer needed to be taken out. But anyhow, I'm excited. I'm still grateful to God for the opportunity to have such a great buck come by. And thanks for tuning into my videos. Stay tuned because there's going to be more coming. Until then, take care and God bless.